Hello and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film or series based on the demands or stipulations from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord. Yes. As professional screenwriters ourselves and massive cinephiles, we talk movies all the time.
All the time.
And we'd like to believe that we can meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TCD Witt, and joining me, as always, is Jim.
Hype man.
Hype man Burzelic. Hey,
I don't know if
Jim.
that's true. I repeat two things, and this time I didn't go for the repeat. I went for the amplifying.
That was good. That was good.
So
I was going to ask
probably
you.
blew out a speaker or two.
I apologize to anyone listening to this with their AirPods on.
As do I.
AirPods are the
I'll
Apple.
go back to an NPR voice.
AirPods
So
are
I'm
the.
a big fan of film.
My God. AirPods are the Apple product. Earpods are the knockoff brand.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I like that.
The dollar store version. What's the best dollar store knockoff movie? Like Transmorphers is like Atlantic Rim, right?
Sure.
What's the best knockoff?
Snakes on a Train.
Snakes on a Train. Yeah. Okay. I guess when I say best,
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer.
Vampire Slayer.
Actually, I have a friend who watched both the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and the, I believe it was Asylum knockoff of it, which was a very similar title. And they say, and I believe them because they're my friend, and also because that movie wasn't great, that the Asylum knockoff was actually better than the big Hollywood release
of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter. Yeah,
the Vampire Slayer one was better.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I've been in a dollar store, but every time I go, I go to that bin, and I'm like, okay, what do they got here? Because you'll find your like Aladdin or your Cinderella that are just public domain.
My favorite, and granted, the ones I'm thinking of are from back in the day of walking around Blockbuster. But mine were always the ones that weren't knockoffs. My two favorites, they were vampire movies. But when talking about movies like this, my favorites were Ankle Biters, a town of little people turned into vampires.
I love it.
Just killing anyone who comes to town. And the other one was Vampires.
Like
it's vampires in the hood.
in the hood.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's Vampiyaaz.
I saw, speaking of vampires, a sort of Blade knockoff movie that was like a Hollywood video, picked it up, and it was very clearly all the money was spent in the photo for the DVD because it was this dude who fancied himself a Wesley Snipes type, black leather jacket, the sunglasses, the whole flat top haircut with the faded sides and a katana. And it was so bad. It was gloriously bad. Like there's like a fight scene moment where he has to like prove his like I'm gonna turn the lights off and you have to fight me. And they literally just went to a black screen and you hear shing 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 and then it comes back and he's standing there victorious.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I could remember what that was called. I remember the Little Panda Fighter. That was like a Kung Fu Panda knockoff. That looked like it was animated in 1997 using like flash animation from like Superfly era. Homestar Runner had better animation quality than Little Panda Fighter. But I think I know the ultimate knockoff. What is probably the best knockoff movie?
What's that?
Mac and Me. Mac and Me.
What is it a knockoff of?
It's the knockoff of E.T. Do you know Mac and Me?
Yeah.
Made popular by not the movie itself, but the one clip of the kid in the wheelchair going down the cliff that Paul Rudd shows Conan O'Brien every single time. That's the best knockoff movie right there.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking you were going to name one of the name, one of the ones that's a name alike.
Right,
because Mac and Me is different from E.T.
But it is so clearly just like the dollar store E.T. Yeah. I saw that in
An
theaters.
alien is left behind and befriends a kid.
I was 6 years old. I saw that in theaters.
Wow.
My grandma lived within walking distance of Market Square Cinema, Kenosha, Wisconsin, and every time she babysat us, she'd walk us to the movie theaters. In fact, I credit my grandmother, my grandma Audrey, as one of the most important, like one of the most influential people in my life that guided me towards wanting to write movies and make movies and tell stories, because she always took us to the movie theater. And I remember seeing Mac and Me, and even at 6 going, I don't think this is good.
Maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, there's like a different category of crap movies, which is like the Freeberg and Seltzer spoof movies, like epic movie and disaster movie and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, no, the very clearly tricking people into buying the I bought you Transmorphers. You love Optimal Prime.
Yeah.
Yay, thanks. But I love the animated ones are the most egregious because they can get them looking as close as possible.
Oh yeah, I don't remember what the title was. I know there was a Land Before Time knockoff.
I actually.
Or am I just thinking of We're Back?
Yeah, you're probably just thinking of the Don Bluth.
Oh, I don't want to think of Don Bluth as a knockoff maker.
San Andreas, Quake, Alien, Predator. Oh, that's a good one. I brought up a Reddit list here.
Oh, sure.
Avengers Grimm, which is looks like Avengers Dark or like Justice League Dark. Oh man, there's a whole market for that. We've been wasting our time, Jim. Here we are trying to come up with IPs.
Did we say
blockbusters?
Atlantic Rim earlier?
Atlantic Rim, yeah.
Snakes on a Train.
Yeah. The Fast and the Fierce. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, hey, let's actually get into our demand for the day, because we might have to circle back to this very conversation for whatever the demand might be for today. But let's get to it. So, Jim, our listeners here, you guys have given us some demands from studios literally all over the world. I don't know if did you know that?
Literally, not figuratively, not hyperbolically.
Literally, I know it because some of the demands start with hola, or
No.
I mean, surely not. But we get people calling us hey mates, using nomenclature from other.
Oh, okay.
You can certainly say hola in America. I know I sound like a dick right now.
That's how you know. That's how you know they're from another part of the world.
Konnichiwa, right?
Okay.
Anyway, now that I've offended people, you can send us your demands over at studiodemands.com, and whatever you send, we have to come up with we will read the demand live and have to come up with something on the spot. And yeah, so keep them coming, and when the season comes to an end, your demand could be the one that's greenlit by our listeners to be our finale. Who knows? We'll see. But today's
The Shadow. Never mind.
Today's demand is The Shadow. No, that's another demand. Sorry. Look, anyone who clicked on this knows what we're doing already.
Yeah.
This comes from Nathan from Shoot the Hostage Pictures. Gentlemen, thank you.
It makes me feel dapper.
That's very good. All right. Gentlemen, it's 1997.
Oh.
Keanu Reeves has returned for Speed 2 Cruise Control, and it's a fudging smash hit. What follows is an alternate reality Fast and the Furious franchise, but it's Speed. This is not what I thought this was going to be. We've got one of these things every 3 to 4 years since, and it's time to end the franchise with the 10th and final Speed film.
Oh.
I did not think this was going to be... Anyway,
Yes.
As much practical in-camera action as Tom Cruise would have, and let's bring in some of that gun fu from John Wick. Where is Jack Traven all these decades later? The studio demands the Speed franchise come to an end. Jim, we knew this was Speed.
Wow.
We knew Speed was the demand.
Yep.
I thought it was just going to be come up with Speed 3.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Or at the most, redo Speed 2.
Yeah.
I did not see this coming. The demand
this is great.
Oh, wow. So not only do we need to come up with a 10th Speed movie, but we probably need to come up with some of the sequels that we got in the middle, right?
Yeah, to justify and explain why we're going to do what we're going to do in Speed X.
Do we have to? Okay, so we. Oh wow. Do we go Fast and the Furious and raise the stakes to like saving the world?
That's not Fast and Furious. That is all cinema.
Okay, true. Yes, yes. I think the trick here then is going to be to not just do a Fast and the Furious. We have to let's consider what makes Speed, and I mean honestly, when we rewatched Speed 1 and 2,
did remind me of the demand we just read.
Okay, yes.
Did he? We're already in an alternate world where Keanu Reeves was in Speed 2,
Yes.
or Speed 2 remains the way it was?
The demand here is that Keanu Reeves did return for Speed 2, and it was a success, and
Okay.
therefore led to 7 more movies.
Okay.
And the demand we've been given is to make the 10th movie, to end the franchise,
Okay.
quote unquote.
Dang, I was hoping that Speed 2 was going to be our Tokyo Drift.
You know what? No. Okay, let's consider that. Let's consider not to go against the demand, because the demand, we will still meet this. We will still find the culmination of 10 Speed movies. But let us imagine that Speed 2. Well, yeah, Tokyo Drift is certainly the anomaly movie in the Fast franchise. But Too Fast, Too Furious, Vin Diesel didn't come back to it.
That's
Like, that was it wasn't in Los Angeles anymore. It was in Miami. It was a divergent path for the story before Speed 4 brought everyone back together, and that's what we've been on since.
So, I like the idea of following the Fast and Furious model.
Okay.
It honestly makes the most sense for turning a franchise like that into a long-running franchise. Actually, if we look at similar things, that's what they did. It's all about family. That's what Lethal Weapon did.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon followed the family.
It's Die Hard kind of did it as well by bringing in his daughter and son, for better and mostly worse.
So I think it's a matter of kind of building out our crew, if you will.
Well, let's.
No?
No. Yes, 1,000%. We need to build. I think Sandra Bullock's still involved here in some capacity, whether she's been through the whole franchise like a Michelle Rodriguez or Jordana Brewster. They've been in all but Fast and Furious 2 and 3, but definitely making it building up the cast,
Sure.
So Joe Morton.
Let's stick with the demand where Keanu is into. As much fun as it would be to have Jason Patrick then be sort of this sidekick character.
Yeah.
We'll just have it be Keanu.
We could in this fantasy world make Jason Patrick in a third Tokyo Drift style Speed movie. That 1 and 2 was Keanu Reeves, 3 was a spin-off of Jason Patrick, and then 4 forward was Keanu.
Sure.
We could then bring. What was
Well,
Jason
we can
Patrick?
once we move. We can do whatever we want. The world is our oyster. Oyster World.
Let me share a little bit of tidbit, a little factoid for you.
Lay it on me.
Jan,
Crack an egg of knowledge.
Jan DeBon, who was the director of Speed 1 and 2, initially felt that Speed did not have sequel potential, but he was contractually obligated to direct the sequel when it was greenlit after the success of the first one. So a lot of ideas were pitched. The one that nearly got made, which I think would have been awesome, it was included a plane that could not ascend above a certain altitude without exploding. And the script was called High Speed. And that is spectacular. That is spectacular.
High speed, low altitude.
High speed, high stakes.
Sure.
The danger never has been higher.
That's what you'd play with. But the whole point is the plane can't ascend a certain height. But that's going to have to be
maybe descend a certain.
Oh, it can't descend.
Because
if it can't because honestly, there is an excitement and it can't go.
Oh,
very high.
Because then it's like
now
clipping buildings.
It has to stay really low.
That's probably why it can't go above.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than going below. Because below, it's it'll run out of gas and crash.
And you do some interesting things, especially in the 90s. I don't know how radar worked, so we're just going to make up some movie rules.
Yeah.
Radar can't detect planes below a certain level, and so that's that level. So now you have this big jumbo jet that is essentially, you can't trace it on radar and is going at jet speeds, even as slow as a jet can go. It's still like what, 200? I don't know. I don't know about speeds.
Let me do this. In this alternate reality we're creating, I'm going to tell you why Speed 3 High Speed was a box office absolute failure, because it would have came out in around 2001. If the based on the demand, we got one every 3 to 4 years. 97 was Speed 2. Around 2001, a plane flying at low altitude would not be a good movie to release.
Sure.
So that would have been the, like, obviously now we're removed from the tragedy that is September 11th, but there was a lot of.
Well, I think it would have come out right before. Actually, it might have been a hit the summer before.
Like if it came out in 2000
or 2001,
right, just before,
right, a July release.
Because that concept of it having to fly low, like staying below radar, but also like having to dodge, like if it was a plane going towards.
It would be a movie that would have it essentially have its legs cut out from under it. If it were a success, it would, like, people wouldn't talk about that movie.
Right. It would immediately become a problem.
Yeah.
Would Jack have been? Jack's the main character in all of these.
Yeah. Jack Traven.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a part of the demand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Keanu is he's our Dom
Toretto.
Dom Toretto.
So he had to fight people on a giant. One of those planes that's like multiple stories.
Yeah.
like Liam Neeson did in one of his movies. I can't remember which one.
Wasn't that the kind of jet that Ray Liotta took hostage?
Was it?
What was that movie called?
There's
Hostage?
no way to find out.
No way to find out.
There's no way.
It's 1997 after all.
Well, I think we are in the year of our movie lords, 2023, and the Lord has demanded that we make a 10th movie here. So the thing that the Fast and the Furious did is once it stopped doing street racing and then became about heisting and saving the world. Is that where Jack Traven is now? Is he some sort of special agent, Mission Impossible, James Bond type that he is involved
I think,
in?
You know what? I think that's how. So again, making up what happened to this franchise, I think that's what happens in 4, right? I like the idea that Speed 3 High Speed is this plane movie, and no matter when it came out, I think it needs to have come out. I feel like if it was made and its release was supposed to take place after September 11th, which would have been past the summer blockbuster season anyway, so I don't see it coming out then.
Yeah, based on the demand,
unless it's a Christmas movie.
It would be a 2001 release.
Yeah. But if it did come out after, I think it would just be shelved, and the rest of the franchise wouldn't work, so it needs to come out.
So we'll say it came out.
Yeah.
We've now had the bus, the boat,
and the plane.
and then the plane.
And the thing, and all three of those, they're the plot. Well, the first one is what happens. The second one is coincidence. The third one is also coincidence.
He just is on the plane.
Like it might even pick up right after Speed 2. That's the plane home.
We're going Star Trek franchise here, where the movies literally pick up where the last one left off.
It doesn't have to. It could though, because where they pick up in 4. So the studio needs to sort of rejuvenate this franchise, which just kind of has this cloud over it because of a national tragedy.
Yeah.
And so they do update Jack. Jack has been moved because of his previous dealings with these people. He's been moved into, and because of the tone of America at that time, he's been turned into an anti-terrorist. He's moved
Jack
from
Bauer,
a local cop,
yeah.
kind of, into like, I don't know if it'd be CIA or, well, we can make up an agency that he's a part of.
Yeah.
Or just Homeland Security, right? Because that would have, So
he is the man they point at a certain type of terrorist. And now he's no longer reactive. He is responsive.
I think so. In starting in 4, Speed 4.
So Speed 4. Man, okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 6 movies to fill. So like, do we create in this franchise a villain that returns, right? So Charlize Theron's been in 3 of the Fast and the Furious now as a villain.
I love Charlize Theron, Theron or Theron.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlize Char.
Charlie, as I call her.
Yeah, she doesn't let me call her that.
Okay,
I'm not allowed.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I love her. I don't care about her role. Like after her movie where she was the villain, every time she comes back, it's like she's just tacked on.
Why are you here? Fast and the Furious is like G.I. Joe, where they just keep adding Joes to sell more toys, and it's like this cast is too large for crying out loud. The only way to get out of this is to tell Dom off, and by Dom I mean Vin Diesel. And by tell him off, I mean literally publicly shame him for calling you whatever. Keanu is the nicest man in the world, so I don't see any like infighting happening in this franchise.
We could have a repeat villain. I feel again. I feel like so. What would this one be? It wouldn't be Planes again. Would he be sent? Would it be some sort of a bomb thing overseas?
Yeah, I think definitely more than one of these movies is We Leave American Soil.
Okay.
I guess, making this franchise about a guy who handles mad bombers what bomb at midnight, and then in a post-September 11th world, and then the 2 decades that followed, there was a time where Batman was dealing with a post-9/11 America. James Bond was dealing with Mission Impossible. There was the 24 was a successful show. A lot of like this type of action franchise was being responsive to world events and whatnot.
To stick with what Speed set up with the first 2, and what I think would also move forward, a la Die Hard and its tropes. I feel the tropes that Speed sets up is its villains are people who feel they were wronged, like they were they were on the side of whatever they are now fighting against. So maybe the 4th one, rather than it being Jack Traven takes on Al Qaeda,
right.
Maybe it's there's a contractor in the Middle East that is he started bombing other contractors because I don't know, like he was kind of left to die for some reason out there. So he's like, well, screw them then. I know all the secrets. I know all the pipelines, and I know all the stuff. So I'm gonna.
And if he's choosing to bomb, then the speed aspect of this is Jack has to race from one location to another to try to beat the bomb at each location.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, that's we can't. I don't know if we can sit here and make a plot for every one of these movies leading up to 10, but we're going to kind of have to.
Having it, yeah, I guess. What's the
like? How do you we have to continue to escalate?
Well, and we also need to create that ticking clock is also a part of
what makes speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the high speed aspect of it is you can't ascend. There's the not wanting to clip buildings, landing the plane, all that.
It would be something like I've planted bombs at these number of locations. You need to your standard civilian contractor needs to do this, and this out in the field, and there's no time to get any of that done with security, all this stuff. And he's like, so now you have to do it. So it's almost a Die Hard 3.
Yes.
Where Jack Traven is the locations he's having to go to are it's following what this contractor or someone like him would have done.
Another one of the movies, whether it's 5 or 6, we could look to like Olympus Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, those movies where it's Gerard Butler's character it's an escort mission, like fleeing as fast as you can, and he could be escorting some political figure that Jack is responsible for getting away, as opposed to the previous speedings.
Now, because Fast and Furious has been invoked, are we wanting to copy that, where they're getting bigger and bigger, and we're adding larger and larger supporting cast?
I don't necessarily know if we need to continue to. I would rather look to the Mission Impossible method or formula of, yes, the cast and family. Even you said that earlier. Family Mission Impossible did that as well, where they created a family unit, but the cast doesn't bulk up, like literally bulk up in Fast and Furious. That ballooned to too many characters, and what's everyone doing here, and it's all right. I think, yes, we need to come up with Joe Morton as his captain in the first movie.
Oh, yeah, he definitely comes. Well, because if we want to, because Fast and Furious gets ridiculous to the point where, I run a chop shop and drag races, to, I speak like 6 languages. I also can hack national security systems.
I can calculate the trajectory a car needs to drive to fly to a space station.
Yeah.
I don't think we should go that route.
Because if we did, we can incorporate Toon Man.
Oh my gosh, Toon Man! Yes, Toon Man comes back. You kidding me?
So for those who may not remember,
everyone does.
But for those who don't,
all right, I guess
Toon Man is the guy who's just driving down the freeway in the first one that Jack Traven commandeers the car, and then busts the door off of and jumps from the car to the bus. That's how he gets onto the bus. Mm-hmm. Is this guy? He has a name, but his license plate says Toon Man. Toon Man. Yeah.
As does
so he's in there. And then in Speed 2, he's also vacationing on at the fictional island port town on his brand new boat.
Toon Man.
Named Toon Man.
And then it gets commandeered again.
It gets commandeered and destroyed.
Yes, Toon Man will be back. He will eventually.
But I mean, are we just gonna cabbage vendor him? That's an Avatar: Last Airbender reference, or does he Fast and Furious style get incorporated into the elite team of bomber fighters?
I think he has to be incorporated into the team. But now here's the thing. Movies like this are required to escalate. Every movie the threat has to be bigger. It's like been proven to in audience testing that they need the stakes to raise every movie. Otherwise, it feels like a less than film. That's just the way movie-going audiences.
Well, I think we can get to 5 or 6 before it reaches James Bond threatening the world level.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
scale.
I think escort mission and having to either a train, like some sort of bullet train scenario. Where
sure.
Could be one of them.
That would probably, let's say that would be 6, and it's God.
I'll give you
Steven Seagal did this. I think he did a train one.
He did, yes.
Okay.
I think Under Siege 2 is on a train.
I think so. Yeah.
But our train, because we have to build and escalate and balloon this, is a high-speed rail that is actually across like the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean. Like the train.
Oh, a super channel.
It's like a super. It's in the water. It's a super channel. Speed 2 Super Channel.
Okay.
That's a terrible title. Speed Channel?
Bering Speed.
Ooh.
It crosses the Bering Strait for some reason.
That's too short. We need a length.
Longer.
The whole movie takes place.
One of my favorite garbage songs is Bullet Train. I think it's Train to Tokyo, Bullet Train to Tokyo. I'm messing up. But the song is about a bullet train that goes from Los Angeles to Tokyo.
There we go. That is where
the
Speed 6 takes place.
That is so unreal that it would only appear in a King Kong sequel. Millie Bobby Brown takes that train.
Oh yeah, that's right. She does
from Miami to Tokyo.
So then once the bullet train to Tokyo scenario happens, now it's like, okay, Speed is it's gone off the rails here. Okay, this train scenario.
Train off the rails. That's what it would be called, right?
Yeah.
Speed 8 off the rails.
No, Speed 6.
We're only on 6.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So there's some details. So in 4, Annie is not in 4.
No. Sandra Bullock had better things to do. She went and won an
But she's back in 5.
Yeah.
And I think that's also when we bring Toon Man. But Toon Man's not in 4. Like, all of the normal... Like, maybe Morton is... maybe he's been brought up with Jack Traven.
I know the guy.
So he might be in the team as well. Mm-hmm. But everyone else recognizable isn't in 4.
Mm-hmm.
and they only come back in 5.
5 and on.
Yeah.
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 And then any new characters that we've given, like whoever was the new partner that replaced Jeff Daniels is now like a reoccurring character. We got our techie guy. Like
we acquire a pilot in 3.
okay.
Or a co-pilot who isn't killed at some point.
And then that's his like flight man.
Yeah,
That's
he wouldn't appear for like probably until 7 because that movie didn't go over. So we don't bring that back. We don't mention that for like 3 movies.
Do we get, since Annie wasn't there in
4?
4,
Yeah,
but she comes back in 5 or 6.
I think she comes back in 5 because we're back on American soil, and like you said, it's escort. It's away. So basically, it'd be a bomber. It's always a bomber targeting Traven, and thus Annie and anyone.
That's in
like maybe it's which Scream was it where the killer was aware of all the previous Scream
4
movies. So that's what 5 would be here, is the bomber is like, Traven, you've had a long career, I'm gonna bomb it. Right? And so he's targeting everyone.
Another character that
from the past 4 movies.
Yeah, I like that. And then so because Annie wasn't in 4, the studio needed a new love interest, so we have another female character added into the mix who carries. So now, I'm trying to create a little
I see,
dramatic.
You think they would have done that for their 9/11 reaction movie?
Love is very powerful, Jim. I know you always poo-poo it.
I do.
I'm just trying to get more characters.
Poo-poo it.
I'm trying to get more characters.
Sure.
Diane Kruger was his love interest as a foreign correspondent who gets mixed up in it. She's basically Annie 2.0, and the fans did not like her because they wanted Sandra Bullock back.
I mean,
but they bring her character back as in a different capacity, not a love interest in the subsequent films.
Okay.
So I just have another female reoccurring character in this Speed franchise.
Okay.
It's similar to what happened Dom Toretto when Michelle Rodriguez was out.
For the audience, go ahead, tell them.
And then Chris Hemsworth's wife was introduced into Fast and the Furious. 5.
Because they were like, well, we need, Dom has to be in love with someone, and Michelle Rodriguez isn't here.
Yeah, and then whatever, you get it. Basically what I'm trying to do right now is get us to 10, and then we're going to take our break and then do 10.
So
go ahead.
I don't know why I'm getting caught up. I'm like wanting to build out, like, no, these need to work and need to be realistic.
No, this is
the only
great.
reason they wouldn't put that love interest in there is because I feel in 2004 when the 4th one comes out, it would have started, there would be dialogue about how Annie's back at home. Like they're not broken up, they're still together.
Okay, that's fine.
Not that a female counterpart couldn't or wouldn't be introduced.
Just not as a love interest.
Yeah.
Fine.
Like or even if there's it's Hollywood, so they would build there's some sort of chemistry there, but he's a spoken for man.
Yes.
So that the character could be introduced that way.
I am not.
But it just wouldn't be a Dom Toretto. I screw all the women unless they're related to me.
Yes, I like that. Yeah,
Okay.
just that we would need another character, another female role to fill the slot that Sandra Bullock didn't want, and you could very clearly tell the script was written for it to be Annie, but then when Sandra Bullock didn't come back, they did like a quick little rewrite, but the plot seems really contrived. Be like, whatever.
Yeah.
So once six is our Bullet Train to Tokyo movie, right? From that point on, that's the
6 Bullet Train.
So 7,
Sure,
8, and 9. Now we're like, we've made a train that's going across the ocean. The ridiculousness of this has escalated. Where do we? I like the idea that it's always some sort of mad bomber.
Okay, nope. Going across the ocean, I think, is too much, too fast, too far. Fast speed. It should just be transcontinental. It should go across the U.S. U.S. doesn't have any bullet trains across the continent. And that's what we're fictionalizing here. This is the first one.
Oh, okay.
it's like a maglev train. It goes super fast, and the first thing it's being used for is it's transporting some national treasure.
Or part of, like, yes, there's some sort of national treasure in it, but also it's a passenger train, and Annie is getting on New York to go back to L.A. to be with Jack.
Almost like a Titanic kind of situation. Anyone who's anyone, like, we got the president and the like 3 of the previous presidents are on this train.
Whoa.
And Annie gets a seat because Jack has been tapped to be security on the train. You want it to be ridiculous?
Yes, I think he has to get on the train. I think Annie is on the train because she's going back to L.A. to meet Jack, and he's supposed to, like, meet her at the he was going to meet her at the train station, and the train left without him, and then once the thing starts escalating, he has to catch up to the train, get on the train, and then fight his way to defuse the bomb and fight the bad guy.
Okay.
There. So, speed. and Annie is driving the train. No, it just stays on the rails. She doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah. Actually, that there would be a whole scene where that would happen. Like, someone would be like, "Quick, take the controls." Like, what do you mean?
It just goes straight. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the ridiculousness enough where it's like, okay,
It's starting. So now we're now definitely inventing things to happen. Because also, we'd probably have to be one-upping at this point, because what actually happened is, to this day, Speed 2 has the most expensive stunt.
Yeah,
that final boat crash scene
is
that took forever is apparently still the most expensive
practical
stunt in the movie. Yeah.
Take that, James Cameron. Crash a boat, we'll show you.
So I feel like the Speed movies would be doing similar things.
And part of the demand was to have, at least for the demand of 10, was to get to Gun Fu, John Wick Gun Fu, and to have as much practical stuff, practical stunts as Tom Cruise would approve of. It was part of the demand. But we're not
then we can't go Fast and Furious ridiculous.
Well, no, I mean, we can, premise-wise we can still have a bullet train going across the country.
Sure.
It's just a matter of, like, making sure the fight scenes are fist to fist.
So we're gonna beat Bullet Train by almost at least 10 years. Yeah.
So 7, 8, 9. Where do we go from there? Like, what? Like, again, once we get to the break, then we'll discuss 10 afterwards. But
I think from there we go. Now we can go back to a plane, and it's a high altitude plane. It's like the what's the supersonic jet that goes into high orbit.
Yeah. Okay.
Or low orbit. It goes into low orbit.
Jack has to go from.
So we're touching space, basically, is what we're doing at this point, and that's what gets us international again.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest it. How Jack, a recurring trope of this franchise is Jack is rarely in. Maybe half the time he has to get to the thing, right? Like, he had to get on the bus. We had to get him on the train. For the plane, he has to get on the plane while it's in the air, and so he, like, F-15 ejects midair to parachute onto the plane. We're escalating here. What?
Well, I see what you're saying. For that concept, it might not work. Well, it's a movie. We can make it work.
He's shooting himself, ejecting himself from a frickin' jet fighter to catch the plane to get on it. High Speed 2.
I'm just trying to think of vehicles at this point. That might not actually be a good premise.
Another high
because I don't know how, like, those planes don't make. I mean, a bus doesn't have very much room for action either. But
well, by the time we get to 9, SpaceX would be a thing. Like, we would already have billionaires who are making their own space rockets.
Sure.
I don't necessarily want to go to space again for our movie.
Well, where else do we go?
I know.
We're not going to the center of the Earth.
We don't need to go higher or lower.
We
need to go faster. So, yeah, Speed 10 supersonic or something like that, or like Speed 8 supersonic. Like, we having some sort of low orbit thing, or get him on a space station that's crashing.
Is it? It might not. It probably doesn't look very fast. I was gonna say, could we have, like, some sort of submarine? Because I changed it to
said-
transcontinental. It's no longer a train going underwater,
Mhm.
because that also wouldn't work for having him jump on halfway through the trip anyway.
Oh no, we'd make it work. He's got his pilot friend. He can always fly to the location.
No, what I'm saying, but if it was going underwater, it would be harder.
Oh no, the transcontinental one is.
Yeah.
You said going lower. We could have something that's like someone shooting a missile through the Earth.
What is happening?
This is what has to happen, Jim.
No, this is even beyond Fast and Furious. I mean, I realized we went in time. So when we pitched Fast and Furious,
Subterranean. I'm just trying to think of things
well,
like.
what if a disgruntled submariner is like mad?
Namor's coming after
No,
him?
submariner isn't like one who drives a submarine.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Is like mad that somebody else is going to explore the Marianas Trench, so the sub has to keep descending at a certain rate, otherwise it'll blow up. But also, if it descends too fast, it's gonna. That might not be, or maybe that's 8, and it's the dud in
Yes.
the bunch.
You
Like,
read my mind.
It's just not
that was what my ugh was. Was
Okay.
like, okay, because then no, we'll make that 7. 7 is
Okay.
the dud where it's like, okay, this whole speed aspect of speed is really starting to fall apart here.
Yeah.
So then they're like, okay, so that was 7. So for 8,
Well, you said 8 or 7. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So for 8, then it's like, okay, we don't need to have because like Fast and the Furious. When's the last time they did a street race? Right, like they have moved away from street racing. That started it.
They always get it in
Kind
there.
of sneak
Like
it in,
it's
but
a,
it's
it's
not.
a cold open or something.
It's
It's
not
always
about
in
the
there.
plot anymore. Now it's about like some super secret spy mission, and I
Yeah.
think that's where this would go. Where now we've come up with a handful of characters that we haven't named,
Yeah.
that are a group Mission Impossible style. That Jack is the point man on,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're in James Bond territory. So it's less about figuring out some speed-like thing. We don't need to have a train or a bus or a car or motorcycles or a submarine or whatnot.
So now we go to space.
So now with 8, 8 is just Jack, Traven,
and friends.
and friends being badass super spies
okay.
or heroes. And again, having the bombing and an explosive aspect of it, I think that can be maintained. In 8, here we go. I got it. 7.
No, oh my God! What we need to do.
Yeah,
It will be the way speed is still is a factor,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing we haven't gone into at all is computers. They need to now go as fast as an internet connection.
There you go. I'm creating something faster than the speed of thought.
Can you outrace my or not race? Can you go faster than my network? And so then the team has to like spread out, all going to different locations to defuse bombs.
Sure. Yeah.
Or just stop them before that is diffusing.
I think 8 is the return of a villain from a previous movie. Like it's a revenge movie. 8 is the.
I came up with one and I had it in my pocket and I was going to save it for 10.
Oh, okay. Save it for 10 then. Save it for 10.
But we could one of the other movies, the villain might have died in a way that wasn't obvious, right? Like
Right.
we don't see them die on screen.
Right.
That villain could come back.
For 8. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
we'll say for 8, and that could be the computer dude.
Sure.
Right? 9 is one of the previous heroes has gone bad. And now I'm really doing blanket statements here.
Yeah, you are. And this one should probably go to space.
The number 9 goes to space?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see what you have for 10.
You might not like it. It may be anticlimactic.
Well, I had mentioned earlier the idea of a space station crashing, like falling out of
Sure.
orbit. So that could be our space
Sure.
adventure of having how much have we escalated at this point? How much in the realm of
I think it's still been pretty decent escalation.
Okay, we're not into Marvel territory, right?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I'm asking because I don't want to pitch something that's like, no, that is mustache
That's
twirling.
just straight superheroes.
Yeah, and we don't want to do that. We're still crafting something of a reality here. So 9 is the space station falling and has something to do with like a billionaire's rocket and
Sure, yeah.
And maybe that's the villain in 9 is actually I said it's a hero gone
An
bad.
ex-billionaire who wants to get revenge for no longer being a billionaire?
No, it's a billionaire who's just bad.
Oh, okay.
Like they're crashing the station.
That's
on
what
purpose.
the B in billionaire stands for.
Bad alien.
No, it doesn't.
And so, before we go to the break here, who is our team? Jack Traven is our hero. Keanu Reeves, gun-fooing, shooting bad guys, punching people in the face.
Just taking hostages out of the equation left and right.
Yeah, shoot the hostage. Annie, what is Annie's role at this point? What does she become? Is she like the driver? Is she just a badass too? Is she? Because we don't want her to be.
Well, interesting. As we were doing this, I didn't just fall into the Fast and Furious model. She didn't. She's just also been along, and that's not great.
Mm-hmm.
But
let's say this.
She's the wild card.
No, I what I would say for Annie, what I'd suggest is her being the guy at the computer. She's the Joe Morton retires at some point, and now she is is the commander of the team. Like she's not out there throwing punches and shooting guns and whatnot, and she's the one who's sort of like planning it out. She's the strategist.
Okay.
Like that's what she ended up being good at. She's still a woman of action.
After the train, right? She and that transition might have happened with Deep Speed.
Deep Speed, yeah. Well, like making her like a Maria Hill type. While Maria Hill is very active and out in the field, she's still more of a like in the office, like you know what I mean? Like having her be. She's not out there punching and shooting villains. She still can run and shoot and whatnot, but her main role is at the big computer saying, Jack, you need to go here. And
okay.
Maybe something like
Sure.
that, yeah. And then we have Toon Man. Is he just our, like... Toon Man's the guy who acquires shit.
Okay, yeah.
He's the... Not Q exactly, but
No.
like... I know a guy.
Yeah.
Is his catchphrase.
Yeah. What movie am I thinking? I'm thinking of Black Widow actually.
Oh, like
Black
that guy.
Widow had a guy who got stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like that.
Yeah.
And then.
So we're not really building a Fast and Furious family here. It is more like what you said, a little more like Mission Impossible, but honestly, still more stripped down. It's not like, all right, we're gonna see Ving Rhames and mine's blanking.
Simon Pegg.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a bit more like Brandt from Mission Impossible, the Jeremy Renner character, is sort of a like second banana Ethan Hunt. Like he's there just in case Ethan Hunt needs to step down. Maybe a character like that. Maybe that's Annie. I don't know.
No, that character could have come along on the speed train.
Just like a younger guy or younger girl who is sort of the like.
Yeah. Actually, I really like that because by that point, by the train movie, Keanu Reeves, Jack Traven would be quote unquote long in the tooth for an action hero. So yeah, he's got this rookie kind of just strapped to him.
The studio forced this young person in, and much like Tom Cruise had to prove you couldn't replace him in Mission Impossible, Keanu Reeves was like, okay, I'm going full John Wick now.
Kind of, yeah.
John Wick doesn't exist in this alternate reality. John Wick is Jack Traven. Like he's.
Well, I think there's actually there's sort of room. The reason there's not room is because John Wick was able to happen because of a lull between Matrix and then kind of
where he is now.
Keanu Reeves' next thing. There would be no lull. I think Matrix and John Wick could still exist. Matrix would still be as big as it was. Okay. I think.
But Speed is like
because it, just as a movie altogether, it was so different. But the Speed franchise would kind of keep his career going. So John Wick would still be really cool, but it wouldn't be the standout that it was. And I think the difference though is the Speed franchise, the way John Wick differentiates itself in that it is about gun fu and precision of all this gunfire, whereas Speed is about fast.
Sure.
Right. So it's about the crazy frantic speed.
Like even the fight scenes have like such a kinetic energy to them. Yeah, cool.
Everything like relates to some sort of clock counting down and stuff like that. I think that's sort of what this franchise says. That's what we're about.
Ticking clocks, the acceleration. I want to say the speed of everything. Yeah. Okay. So you have an idea for 10? Don't tell it to me, but I'm just wondering if you have...
Sort of. I have a bit of premise, and you might hate it.
Okay, well, let's take a break here, and then we'll come back and decide if I hate Jim or not.
All right.
Or the idea. I might hate...
It's the first day of school, and I'm walking around downtown Chicago with hundreds of other students. Everyone's getting back from summer break, and you can tell that they're happy to see each other after a couple months. For me, however, it's been a little longer. Hi, I'm David, and I want to introduce you to Returning Student, a documentary podcast that I've been making about my return to a college that I left 20 years ago. I'm back in the same city, at the same school, the same student ID number. Everything else feels completely different. My fellow classmates are literally half my age. My professors work in my industry. Sometimes I wonder why I've come back at all. But then I get the opportunity to sit down with one of my professors and have a conversation with them, which usually yields a little bit of wisdom. You can find the show on all major podcast providers, as well as our website, returningstudentpodcast.com. A lot has changed over the past 2 decades.
Okay, we're back.
Here we are.
That was
That was
a fast break, as you just commented. Were we really at the break? And I said yes, and then you commented, we're speaking very quickly.
Yeah.
And then I said, well,
it's because we just made 8 movies.
We had to come up with 8 movies, and then like not even 8 solid movies. Like, I know we missed like there's spots we missed in here, but
so interestingly, I think the reason we did all that is because we thought we'd be building off of stuff, and we might.
Sure.
Here's my first pitch.
Okay. For this is
second half of the episode. First pitch for Speed 10.
Speed 10. Speed 10. Your speed belts.
We quote unquote slow down, and we're at a lull. Everyone's back home. There is no crisis that needs to be addressed. And I'm building the tension up to it poorly, so I'm just going to cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Annie gets maneuvered onto a bus.
Okay.
It basically we go back to Speed 1.
Okay.
Right? Like, and the bomber calls Jack, like, hey Jack. I don't know if you'd say recognize my voice. He probably wouldn't, because we haven't met this character before.
Okay.
But we have met this character's father.
Oh my God! Are you telling me you're gonna do this? This is your idea? Is that it's gonna be Dennis Hopper's kid?
Yes.
Back for revenge and recreating Speed 1?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can call upon all of the friends we've met over the years. But our new bomber has all sorts of things to account for all of that. Maybe even we see yet another return of a second villain or something who's been recruited. Like, I've been waiting, Jack. I've been waiting to get this revenge.
I got you.
As sort of like a mini boss.
I like mini boss ideas. I like the idea that the initial threat is a bus again, and that the villain is seemingly the son of Dennis Hopper's character. So that is seemingly like we have every based on the dialogue, based on we have every reason to, even Jack has every reason to believe that this bad guy is the son of Dennis Hopper, and he's recreating Speed 1, but now like dial it to 10, but not just Speed 1. Let's because this is the last movie in this franchise. We start by recreating Speed 1, but this mad bomber is, once 1 is done, is going to recreate in some capacity in one way or another every threat that we've seen for 9 movies. That it's going to be, we're going to be on a bus and then a train and then in the air and then like just have Jack running and gunning through his, not like literally replaying other than the bus, but like getting on a train again and having like that this bomber is forcing Jack to relive all these things again. And, not exactly,
it's
but
clip show.
It's not a clip show per se, but just kind of everything's a callback to the 9 movies that came before.
I mean, okay, then I would actually then want to go so far as a number. It is mostly down to just Jack.
Yes.
And not every single one, but each one he has somehow captured one of our speed friends.
Yeah. And we probably should lose a couple.
Oh yeah.
I think that, but boy, I mean, like talk about speeding to the end here. I know how I want to end this, but let's hold that.
Well, I'm because you've already suggested away from what I was really excited about.
Go ahead.
So,
tell me more.
No, I told you he's his son, and you said he says he is, but he's not really. Okay, fine.
Okay,
fine. He's not.
Who
is he then?
The twist reveal.
Are you gonna? That's no. Don't you do it? Don't you? No.
It's Jeff Daniels' son. Did you think I was gonna go there?
No, I thought you were. Oh, and actually, you went. I thought you were gonna say it was Jeff Daniels.
No, it's Jeff Daniels' son.
That's not terrible.
That it's his kid who wants revenge on Jack for the start of this. You got my dad killed, which he didn't. That's foolish to think that.
I'd rather have that be an earlier one. Oh no, we can't recruit bad. We're not. Speed is not a franchise where we recruit bad guys to be good guys.
Well, okay, fine. I'll go back in time. Let's say in Speed 4 or 5, it is Jeff Daniels' son, and he is brought into the fold as one of Jack's guys, or his daughter, or Jeff Daniels' kid.
Sure,
is a bad guy in one of the movies.
Did Jeff Daniels? I know he had a wife. I suppose could have had a kid.
Yeah, I mean. Retcon whatever you want. That's how movies work.
That's true.
Especially movies like this. Dom Toretto suddenly has a brother that's John Cena.
I'm okay with it being the original villain's kid back for revenge. I don't want it to be his good friend's kid back for revenge in the last movie.
No, that's what I'm saying. Make that villain turn from like movie 5 or 6. That it's Jeff Daniels' kid, and then that kid is recruited into Jack's team.
Sure.
But now, having Dennis Hopper's familial connection, seeking revenge, Simon Gruber style, like just like.
I mean, do you not like that? Like I said, you might not like that at all. Granted, you liked Jeff Daniels' kid being.
Well, I don't know for the last movie, but I don't have an alternative. So basically, I'm trying to make it work.
Oh, okay.
And my suggestion of it being Jeff Daniels' kid. Being an earlier villain, I think that works.
Okay.
Having it being Dennis Hopper's kid here, okay, that's the reveal, but is the motive just revenge?
Yeah.
Is that enough for the finale of this entire franchise? I don't think it is.
No? What should the motivation
Well, like
be?
the villains we've established up to this point, like you'd suggested, they feel like they've been wronged. But
it's always been I was wronged in some way, so I feel that what I'm doing is deserved and give me money
and I'm owed something, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing is that okay, if it's Dennis Hopper's descendant who is back for revenge, also what's the money? Like what do they feel they're owed? So that's the second element of it. It's not just give me
father.
I'm sorry I killed your dad.
And $3 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the
I'm whatever you want to tack, almost anything you want to tack on, I'm fine with. But to me, the main motivation is revenge.
I like that, but I think that the whatever the want is needs to be a 10th movie amount of a want. Like the first one is give me my severance. The second one is give me my severance. The so on and so forth. It's someone who's been wronged. And they are going after the gold doubloons in the desert, and they're going after the money the CEO stole from the other CEO. So I'm not saying no to the idea that the big villain in the final movie is the son or the daughter of Dennis Hopper, but the money. What is the? It can't just be drop the money off in this bank account for me. What's the big ask? You see, like that's you might not have an answer, but
well, I guess when I just say revenge and you say that's too small, I don't know. To me, revenge is pretty big because this final villain, every other time it's been I feel wronged. Give me this and I'll go away. Things won't explode. Maybe I'm lying about that, but that's what I'm saying. In this one, it would be, I want my revenge. You took my dad.
Okay.
Nothing else will satisfy me.
That's it. That's that. And having that conversation with Jack of like, what do you want? I'll give. What money do you want? Like, I don't want. I just want you. I just want you to pay. That's the money. The payment I want is you. Okay. Well, then you have me. You can. No.
You. Your career is you.
Yeah.
The people you've gathered are you. And I will have it all.
And you will jump through these hoops, or I will cash them in.
And they will die.
Or they will die. So then he is, in a Die Hard 3 fashion, like Jack is forced to do all these things because the people in his life are at risk.
Yes.
Is that okay? Is that a satisfying conclusion to this franchise? That then it comes down to Jack versus this person? Because I think we've built this up enough where Jack is speed punching his way through bad guys and minions at this point. It's like the franchise would have had to build enough where that it's not just get to the one guy. It's like get through the goons in his traps.
You think there would be henchmen?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That at this point the movie would need to have a gang of bad guys to get through, and then therefore our other heroes have things to fight and punch.
Well, in this one, I was a lot of them are
captured.
Yeah, incapacitated, so they're not punching through. But that was my idea was bringing it back to basics, right? We talk quite regularly. I don't know if we talked about it on any episode where things get so big. How do you dial back? How do you bring something back?
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I mean. We're still going to go through everything.
Yeah,
but everything has been kind of rendered down from as big as it got to now. It's smaller again, but it's way more personal.
Yes, and to go off Nathan and his demand here about the Tom Cruise level of practicality, in the 10th movie, the hoops that Jack is made to jump through is basically callbacks to all the other 9 movies, and this movie is going to do all 9 of the big threats practically. Yeah, like while CG and visual effects were used over the course of this franchise, it's like this. If in the final Mission Impossible movie, Tom Cruise literally flies a helicopter into a channel. Like in the first movie, they did it with models, they did it on a soundstage, but Tom Cruise has escalated Mission Impossible to be about the stunt. So I'm suggesting
that Speed does that?
That Speed, for their final movie, the big cell, while it is paring down to staying in a grounded reality, like on the ground, in the air, in the water, that's real, all these stunts were done as realistically as possible. Yeah. And that is the escalation of the series.
Sure.
So then, so Jack is forced to go through this maze around Los Angeles and the surrounding area, up above, down below, in the water, at the mercy of this guy. So how does he do all that, save his friends, and stop the bad guy?
He doesn't.
He just does it. All right, thank you for listening, everybody. Nathan, I hope you're... because it's, once he gets to the end, once he's done, I'm done everything you've asked me to do. What do you want from... I've done everything. Sure. Like...
Well, so maybe... Like, because he... either in this one or the previous one... One of there's someone, they're not a bad guy, but there's someone who thinks that the Traven team is like way too loose. You're a loose cannon. I don't know if that route or just something like that. But they begrudgingly, they're like, you're good guys, right? So in this one, he's the unlikely ally that Dennis Hopper Jr. Didn't expect to be there. So after the first one or two, Jack's finally able to contact someone
He's like,
who
he has a
hasn't
moment to
been
breathe.
captured.
Okay.
And he calls this person.
I need your help.
And so then they're able to help.
Jeff Daniels' kid.
Sure.
Calling back to like movie 5 or 6. It's like, you're the only one that this person didn't account for. I need you to help me.
Sure.
And even if it's and maybe like going back to that first one where they used the CCTV camera to trick, if in order to get Keanu racing towards the villain, tagging in the other, like, you need to help me.
Sure,
I need
like
you to do the tasks that I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then they kind of trade. So then now Jack is on the path to catching the villain, while our Jeff Daniels kid is now proceeding to do the tasks to save some
something
of the.
Like that, yeah.
Okay. And then the final confrontation, is this going to just be the knockdown, drag out punch fest that it's been destined to be? Is this because the Mad Bombers here are not? I imagine some of them are going to. It's going to come down to trading blows, but like Dennis Hopper's not a man who's going to throw a punch at Keanu.
No,
Willem Dafoe is not
it. Yeah, right. They built that well. It wasn't about facing off like that. It was these bombers. That's not their MO. They're not like, I can bomb you and also fight you.
But I think this one should be. I think this one should come down to, we need to beat Keanu. We need to beat Jack to the point of just beat him to shit, so that when he finally has his final confrontation, it's almost a John McClane level of like, or Captain America. I could do this all day. How do you imagine this ends? Like
another decapitation. I'm not sure.
I think I'm
with justice.
Though that's all I ever wanted. I just wanted justice. I think it should come down to them trading blows, because Jack is.
That's fine. They do in Speed 1. It comes down to them trading blows on top of the
train,
subway tunnel.
So I think that, and you had mentioned earlier, because halfway through this franchise, the studio thought Keanu Reeves was getting too old for this. That could come into play at this point. He's 50 years old, going up against someone who's half his age. A fist fight and shooting at each other in a speedy John Wick style is could be fulfilling. To have the ticking clock of like the last rescue of our hero, our Jeff Daniels kid, saving like the second to last of Jack's friends, so that it's Jack and the villain and Annie. Like, it comes down to those three in the end. So that Jack has to.
Well, what if it? Yeah. Okay. Then he's after the like, maybe he recaptures Annie. Like, Annie gets. Actually, that makes sense, because that happened there as well. Annie got off the bus, and then Dennis Hopper got a hold of her and got on the train. So this happens here, except this guy, he's full on loon. And there's no escaping here. There's no getting my money and getting away. So he took a hostage just because he's a bad guy, and gets on a plane, and has his bomb vest, and they trade some blows on the plane. Because Jack's on the plane too. It's not him and Annie fighting, although it could be.
Annie can fight him.
But I'm thinking our villain grabs Annie and has his bomb and jumps out the plane.
Oh wow! So he has. Oh wow! Okay, yeah. And then
so
Jack
now
has to jump
Jack
out of the
has
plane
to fight skydive fight him, and rescue Annie, and like get away from him so that he can't blow them up in the middle of the sky.
Okay. And then Jack, beaten to shit, gets Annie, gets enough distance away from this evil bomber, and they explode when they hit the ground.
Well, no, there'd be a whole like, oh, we grab a parachute and good to go.
The
bad
bad
guy.
The bad
You
guy.
said they. I thought
No,
you
no,
meant,
no,
like,
I meant the bad guy.
Yeah.
The bad guy hits the ground and blows up,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jack is, I'm ready to retire. Like everybody's been saved. I can't keep doing this, Annie. I just wanna go surfing with you.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, and then Annie would have some smart remark like, well, whatever we do, we are not going on vacation anywhere. We're just staying at home.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then that is Speed X. That is the end of the road for Jack Traven.
I think so. We got 10 of these things. Played the greatest hits.
Yeah.
And returned to where it started.
Mm-hmm.
As every good story should.
As every good story should. Damn you, I hate that. Okay, so then, if that's an epilogue to this, after they've landed safely and Jack is like, I just want to go home. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go on vacation. No planes, no trains.
I really admire how Speed 1 ended.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have them land, give their just a quick little dialogue, either about how it's time to retire.
Yeah.
Well, whatever we do, we're not
going anywhere. We're just going home.
Like that. Probably do some sort of reprisal about relationships under extreme circumstances don't last.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've had a pretty good run. Something like that.
Yeah, sure.
Like maybe have a few of whatever friends have survived come showing up in police cars racing to where they landed, but end it there. No long epilogue. I really like how Speed 1 ended like that. It was.
I think that's great for 1997 or 94.
Yeah, and 2024.
No, I disagree, because I think if you have gotten to 10 of these movies to end it
you're gonna
so
Lord of the
abruptly,
Rings 3 endings.
Yes, I am. But this is what I'm gonna do. Having just a brief epilogue. Yes, all the characters rushing them. I think we've had a good run. That's a great bit of dialogue there. The epilogue of this is just the next generation of heroes that have been introduced over the course of this, setting up to start the next chapter of whatever Speed's going to be, whether we get a sequel or not. But just having like, hey, you've been promoted, good job, young generation. Like, I'm just saying, like, leave the door open for further adventures of anyone but Jack and Annie.
I see what you're saying. I feel like that would have been done earlier in the movie. Like the rookie would already be well in the prime of his career, this many movies in, so we'd learn that at some point. That the replacement Jack Traven has been captured, and our Jack Traven has to rescue Jack Traven Jr.
Really, I don't think the abrupt ending is going to fly in this scenario. And I'm just saying, having some sort of epilogue of whatever characters are left, we'll continue to have adventures. Maybe you'll get more movies out of the franchise from these characters. But just think of Endgame. If Endgame had ended with Tony Stark snapping and then saying goodbye to Pepper and then roll credits, that'd be a pretty shitty ending. We'd be like, well, we need to say goodbye to all these characters. We've been with them for 20 years. You can't just, like, end the movie.
Watch me.
All I'm suggesting is that we have some sort of epilogue with the remaining characters giving the indication that the adventures of Speed will continue, whether we ever see him or not.
Well, we gotta... I think we write it so that we can get rid of all that if necessary.
Fine. Well, here, let's...
Because we didn't discuss it. I like that trope so much, I would want to do it in every Speed movie, where it's like, no, we've cleared the bad guys, our heroes are clear.
Roll credits. Roll credits.
Kiss or handshake or whatever it is, roll credits.
I just don't think that works in a modern film.
I don't think we know that it doesn't work.
So you're saying if it's a staple of the franchise to get out speedily get out while the getting's good,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to. Okay, all right, I'm willing to back. I'll give if you'll give me like 90 seconds on the ground where they say, I just want to go home, and I think we've proven ourselves otherwise, and the emergency vehicle's coming to them, and then get out. Yeah, okay. We don't need to have... I'll do a post-credit scene. I get the post-credit scene.
Sure.
There we go. Okay,
Yes.
good. We agree. There we go.
Well, because first of all, I feel like setting anything up for we might get more movies. I feel like that betrays the demand.
Sure.
Mostly that. It's supposed to be the last one.
It does say the franchise come to an end. Okay.
And a number of the characters by this 10th movie have kind of moved on to other things. The other reason that we returned to sort of the first plot is, and the way this ended up playing out, is everyone kind of has moved on. The team kind of has dispersed.
Sure.
And it's our villain who said, no,
You're back. Come on.
I'm going to end this.
Yeah.
And so then as each one is rescued, they do their part to help, and they help pass the baton to get to the end of this, to save Annie ultimately at the end. Like I imagine Joe Morton, is that his name?
Yeah.
Right, he's there from Speed 4 through like 7, and then his character retires,
and he hands it off to
something
as the team,
the
Nick Fury of his
if
group.
that's when we handed it off, something like that. And then, but he comes back. He's one of the people in danger in 10. But we know what we need to know about him. He's this cool, badass guy who has retired once he gets rescued and or dies. Like, we kind of know his story, where it goes from here. It's like he goes back to what he was doing.
Right. Okay. If we always end the movies...
You can have 90 seconds. That's fine.
Good.
That's plenty of time for an ending. And you can have a stinger.
Maybe not.
But
You've sold me on the idea that the series always ends fast. I like that. If that is a standard of the series, I'm okay with that. I could see that working. But let me look back at the demand here just to make sure we got. So first of all, Nathan called us gentlemen. Cruise came back for Speed 2. Oh, did we want to bring Jason Patrick in? Like, does he exist as a character?
No, because this isn't. No, in this alternate world where Keanu came back, Jason, like, I don't see why we, aside from just us wanting to put a nod into the alternate history of our real history, there's no reason to include him.
Good. And then okay, so the John Wick style gunfighting, and then as many practical effects in camera as possible. Yeah, I think we got it. I think we have made 10 Speed movies.
Oh, you know what? We should have done it. Actually, no. The computer guy in 8, I think it was.
One of yeah.
He's. Do we just do a lot of? Maybe doing too many relations is a problem. He doesn't have to be the son of, just one of the relatives of Willem Dafoe's character.
Maybe. I suppose if we really want, it can just be.
Because why did I think he came from some sort of money or I thought
Willem Dafoe's character?
Yeah.
Well, he developed like the system that poisoned him that they used on the cruise ship.
Oh, is that what it was?
And then wasn't paid. Like, he was dismissed and fired while being sick. I
don't know why. Well, I guess I was coming back to him mostly because he knew lots about computers.
I don't think
computers was his deal.
We got into it enough. Speed 2 is a terrible movie.
Oh, it's so bad.
Like seriously, I'm sure there's people out there who like it and have a soft spot for it. We in preparing for this, watching Speed 2,
especially after watching Speed 1.
It's Speed 1 holds up. Excellent movies.
Like, you could actually remake that now, taking place now, and it would. I don't know if there are very few details that don't still work.
Right.
You can give everyone on the bus a cell phone. Even it doesn't matter.
But Speed 2 is just a dud of a movie until it starts just getting worse.
Yeah. That
last 20 minutes.
And where they insist on using every shot because they paid for it.
I'll give them credit that boat crash is very well done, but boy, is that movie just rough.
Yeah.
I said it was. I said it was a Sharknado level of bad.
The order of things was you said that, and I'm like, it's not that bad. And like 2 minutes go by of this boat crashing through every type of small craft you can think to put in the water. There's a sailboat, there's a motorboat, there's a paddle boat, there's a canoe. There was just a point where I was just like, yeah, no, you're right. This is
a pane of glass, a fruit stand,
yes,
a lady with a baby. Yeah, it was. That was. I'd never seen it, so
no, same.
I know it's a much derided film. It's like notoriously one of the worst reviewed films. However, it is a review that Siskel and Ebert gave positive. They gave positive
they
reviews to
it,
which many point as an example of why those two sucked. I don't agree. They're two of like the standards of film criticism, but that's neither here nor there. How?
Well, not every critic, not everyone's taste, and not every critic is gonna be right 100% of the time.
Right. Yeah.
They both panned Gremlins 2, and when I was 11 and that movie came out, that broke my heart because I loved Gremlins 2.
Right. How dare you? But what do the critics think of our Speed franchise?
Oh, they hate it.
Really?
No. It goes back and forth, actually. I think they would like
some of them.
Several of them, yeah.
Well, the only critics that matter to me...
Pretty Midland, actually, averaged.
The only critics that matter to me are our listeners. So what do our listeners think of the Speed franchise? So I think we're going to wrap up the episode here, and I'd love to know what everyone thinks of Speed. And while I do think there's some parallels here, too, we use Mission Impossible and Fast and the Furious referencing a lot. I think we landed more towards Mission Impossible than Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
But I'd love to know what you guys think, particularly Nathan, since you sent in the demand. Did we miss anything? Did we exceed? What do you think? You can let us know by hitting us up at StudioDemandsIt.com on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Studio Demands It. If you're not already, you can subscribe to us and give us a review in-app, which helps us in the algorithm to get out to more ears. You can also find us on YouTube and TikTok, where we are posting video content this year, including materials not heard on the show. We did a commentary track for Speed.
We did.
So if you speed on over there to TikTok, you can see our highlights of the commentary track for that. It should be up by the time this episode airs. If not, come
just wait a little
check
while.
in. Just check in. Subscribe. When it posts, you'll know. But you can find me at TC's Big Head on Twitter. And Jim, I think you might
not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. There's the tease. Jim may have a way to contact himself.
where you don't have to contact TC
Go
first.
through me, yeah. That's right. I have been saving all the messages directly to Jim.
Appreciate that.
To give them to you. One episode is just going to be the 50 messages that I've gotten. Well, actually, speaking of messages and whatnot, thank you to everyone responding to the Blade Runner episode.
Yes.
We've got a lot of great feedback from that, both through Twitter and Facebook and directly through our emails.
It was awesome. You guys, that was the one you guys really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because we had a lot of fun with that. Speaking of Charlie, I'm sorry, Charlize for you. Thank you for hitting us up about that, and yeah, it's very validating.
It is.
But last but not least,
I remember commenting when we were going through them, like, oh no, this actually makes me nervous because that means people are listening to the things I'm saying, and I can't just say whatever garbage comes to my mind.
That's what you get, Jim.
That's what I get.
When you say interesting things, people listen. Actually, if you say ignorant things, people have lots to say as well. So one way or another, people are listening.
I can say interesting, ignorant things.
Very good. Big thank you to 6.5 Media for everything they do for us. Please check out the other 6.5 shows. But that does it for this episode. I actually made you converse through most of this. Did you have any final thoughts?
We didn't name them all.
Oh my God! We can't sit here right now and
Why not?
Well, once mics stop rolling, we will name 10 Speed movies. So actually, that's worth mentioning. If you want to hear that part of the conversation, we do have a Patreon, and you can hear more of what we have to say before an episode and after. So if you want to hear our 10 Speed titles, head on over to Patreon for a couple bucks or less. You can get some extended episodes, including our commentary track for Speed and other movies. But that does it for this episode. And thank you, Jim. Thank you, listeners. You're
Thank
thinking.
you, TC.
Oh, thanks, Jim. I appreciate you. There you go. All right, let's speed on out of here.
Meow.